I'm Jenny Lubell with teenservice.org. Today I'm here with Jeff Solnet, who is a freshman at Harvard University. During Jeff's senior year in high school, he won the Florida Volunteer Service Award. So Jeff, how did you get started doing community service, and do you have any advice for teens who are just getting started?
Well, first I want to thank you for inviting me here today. I'm very excited to be talking about service. Service is something that's been a big part of my life. I think I probably started doing service when I was 7 years old. That's the earliest I can remember doing any type of service. And I was sitting in my mother's, in our kitchen at home, and I was folding letters to convince our congressman to support H.R. 353, which is the ALS Patients Assistant and Treatment Act. And that was very important for me because my father died of ALS when I was 7 years old, and it left us financially. It ruined us financially as far as medical bills, and this was a bill that was designed to help patients who have been paying into Medicaid to help them get some of that money back when they needed it. So that was my first, I think, real involvement in service when I was at that age, when I was 7. And I think the biggest advice I can give people who are interested in getting involved in service would be to find something find an issue that keeps you up at night or that you're passionate about, and it really requires some soul searching to do. You got to find something that means something to you, because the more it means to you, I think the more you're going to be able to get out of it when you actually go to participate in it. So for me, doing this for this ALS treatment bill meant a lot to me, because if I knew if my father was alive, this would have helped him so much, and it would have helped my family a lot. So you really need to find something that will keep you going through the whole process, because it can be a very challenging process, and at times you want to stop. But if you have something that you're extremely passionate about, you'll be able to keep going and not stop.
It's really interesting. Besides fulfilling your hours, what would you say were the main benefits to you for doing so much community service?
The main benefits to me, I think, one, you learn a lot. You meet a lot of people as you do service. Depending on what project you do, you're going to meet people from all different walks of life, from all different parts of the community, and you learn from them. The more involved you are, I think the more you get back from it. So I think that was probably the biggest benefit for me, and it also helped me improve as a leader. If I started my own community service project, I think you can grow as a leader. You learn where you're going to have issues as a leader. You learn how to work with teams. Yeah, those are definitely the main benefits.
You were involved in a lot of different community service projects. Can you explain the pros and cons of creating a brand new service project compared to participating in an existing program?
Well, creating your own project, I think, presents a unique set of challenges. For one, it's very time-consuming, and it can be not so much fun. I think by just participating in it, I think you really get to enjoy it a lot more than when you're leading it. Because when you're leading it, there's an element of being worried about what you're doing, and you're concerned about that the people involved are having a good time, or if they're enjoying it, you hope they don't leave. And you tend to be a lot more invested, like emotionally, or you're more passionate about the project when you're leading it. So that's definitely the con. But the pro is when you lead the project, I think as I said before, you do get to grow as a leader by leading the project. And I think you also, again, you learn a lot more leading it. I think you get to see things from the 30,000-foot level when you lead the project, and you get to see how everyone is being impacted by your work, and not just the one person that you helped deliver food to or something over the holidays.
It's really helpful. It seems you really dedicated a lot of your time to community service projects. Can you talk a little bit about the sacrifices you made to your social life and your free time during high school?
This is probably the toughest question, because when you do service, you don't tend to think about the sacrifice that you're making. You just kind of do it. But I would say the thing that I think I sacrificed the most was probably my grades. I think if I didn't do any service, I think I would have studied a lot more, and I would have gotten better grades. But I think that's probably my biggest sacrifice. And then, of course, you sacrifice time with your friends. But at the same time, doing service is a great way to meet people and a great way to be social. So I think I don't really see that as too much of a sacrifice, because you get to meet so many new people.
Do you have any thoughts about how important leadership is in community service projects?
I would say being a leader in the project does help you get more from it. But at the same time, I think just participating in the project might help you find things that you're passionate about that you might not even realize. So, you know, when you go to college, you're gonna be at Harvard, for example. We have an association called the Phillips Brooks House Association, which is a collection of just tons of student service organizations. And there's people who want to get involved, but they're not really sure what they want to do. So you might walk into the Phillips Brooks House and say, well, I want to tutor, I want to teach English to kids in Chinatown, which is something my roommate's doing right now. And he just kind of did that on a whim, but he found out that he's really passionate about teaching, and it's something that he wanted to pursue, and now he's going and he's leading a service trip to China to teach kids in China how to speak English. So I think by participating, I think it's a great way to find something you're passionate about, but you shouldn't take up that leadership role until you find that one thing that you really want to affect.
Jeff, something our viewers would definitely want to know is how important do you think community service projects are to getting into such a great college like Harvard?
Well, I think community service is very important to getting into college. Colleges really want to see somebody who is going to be a contributor to their community. They want to see someone who's going to be active on a college campus. And you know, a college campus is a community. It's a community of alumni, of professors, of students, grad students, and even at Harvard, there's the city community. Harvard doesn't really have a campus. It has the city of Cambridge. So they really want to see someone who's going to give back to that area and be active members of the community. So community service is important, but I would caution people to find projects or to do community service not because they just are trying to get into college. Like, don't find a project that's going to wow the admissions officers. You want to find a project that is inspiring to you and something that, like, you know, you wake up in the morning and you'll be super excited to get involved in. It'll you know, when you have an accomplishment, it'll give you chills. That's something that you want to do because the admissions officers are going to be able to see that, and they're going to see through a project that you might just be doing because you want to get into college.
Thank you so much for being here today.
All right, well, thank you for inviting me.